Hey folks, here OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the AOWO EX16 Pro. It's also advertised as the X5 on certain sites, but these two models are the same watch. It comes in a wealth of different colors, and this is a sport smartwatch that sells for under 25 bucks, which makes it extremely inexpensive. However, functionality is also more limited. There is no heart rate monitoring, and the emphasis is on sports and on long battery life. In fact, it doesn't even use a rechargeable battery like most mainstream smartwatches that we think of. Instead, it uses a cell-based battery similar to the CR2032, and that allows it to last roughly 2 years before you have to swap it out for another replaceable battery. So the plus side is you don't have to worry about charging it every night. The downside is it's a bit more limited in terms of what it's capable of displaying. Packaging here is pretty simple. We have the blue version for review purposes, some basic specs on the sides. It tracks your steps, calories burned, distance, and there are some very light notifications on board as well. So using the LCD display, it's able to flash and beep whenever you get a new call, text message, or social media tweet, such as from Facebook, Twitter, or WeChat. So instruction manual here, I would actually recommend going through and taking a close look at, just because this is, again, not a very traditional smartwatch. It uses mechanical keys for all the actions, so it does take a little bit of time to get used to. The plus side is this model is completely waterproof, so it can be submerged up to 30 meters of water, so that's great if you're going out and swimming. If you're taking a shower, you can still wear it. It uses Bluetooth version 4.0, and there's a free companion app you can download for iOS or for Android, which is pretty good. The Bluetooth can be turned off on the watch to conserve on battery if you don't plan on always syncing information with your phone, and the data can be stored on the watch for up to 21 days, or roughly 3 weeks. So remember to sync information out at least once every 3 weeks if you want to keep info in terms of how many steps, calories burned, and etc. On the phone, and that will be synced with the cloud. So the packaging here, very simple. There's just the watch on the inside, and that's it. So setting this off to the side and taking a look at just the design of the watch next, you can see immediately that this doesn't really look like any traditional smartwatch that's a stereotype, just because it's rather large and bulky. It's more similar to a rugged, durable Casio G-Shock watch than a very lightweight and portable unit. So as a result, it's definitely a lot larger than your typical smartwatch. So it's something to keep in mind. But the material and build here seem to be rather strong, and for under 25 bucks, it is relatively well constructed. For various colors, you actually get a pretty nice accented chrome ring on the surface and a few accents here and there. This is called the Oceana Blue. It also comes in a kind of midnight black and also a plateau red, so the names are also kind of interesting. Peeling back this film, we can see that the display becomes slightly more easy to read. It is actually feels like more of a plastic display than I would say tempered glass, but you can see there is a gap between the LCD and the top of the surface. However, for the most part, the screen, which measures roughly 1.3 inches diagonally, is easy to read, and since it's using traditional LCD technology, when the backlight is off, just like a regular watch, it still remains fairly visible under direct sunlight, as you can see there. There is a backlight. You can tap on the light key on the top there, and under darker environments, you can see that the glow effect will be more apparent, and it will become easier to read under low light situations. So display is actually a highlight here. It's a lot more readable than a traditional color display. So on the side here, you have access to a few controls. There's 2 hotkeys, which will correspond to turning the light on or off, and you can also long hold on it to turn the Bluetooth function on or off, again to conserve on battery. If you don't want to use Bluetooth, you can have this function off. When it's flashing, it means it's ready to pair. Down below here, I can tap on mode to cycle through the various screens. So tapping once goes through the time and the date. I also have access to number of steps I've walked, calories, and then also you can see the distance. So it's going to have a highlight there to tell you what specific mode it's in. Here is just the timer mode. I can tap on start to begin a quick timer, which is pretty useful, for any watch. And then of course cycling back into just the regular time interface. On the very bottom here, you have a row of icons, especially at the very bottom here. This is one for a camera, one for a phone, one for a mail symbol. When the mail symbol flashes, it means that you have a new incoming email, text message, or notification from social media. The phone is saying that you have a new call or missed call, and you can have the camera logo flash when you are in the correct mode and paired with the phone. That means this acts as a selfie remote, and you can tap on the key on the side here once to take a snapshot on your phone, which makes it great, again, if your hands are full and you want to create a self-portrait with other people around you. So pretty nice, nifty features. But this is the extent of notifications on the EX16 Pro. The screen here doesn't actually occupy, and change into things like the text, and doesn't scroll through. So you can't physically see parts of the message that people have been sending you. You have to then go into your phone to look at it. So I wouldn't say it's a true smartwatch, which I classify as being able to run more complex apps. Instead, it's more of a glance watch. It is smarter than just a generic watch, of course, but it's more of a notification watch that gives you updates and, of course, incredibly long battery life on top of being just a regular, very rugged watch than something that you would, expect it to run, tons and tons of applications. Overall, though, it seems pretty well laid out. The side here does feature kind of some fake controls. The center here does not do anything. Same on the other side, just for decoration. And this is just a start key for starting a certain command or prompt. And then we also have kind of a reset key if you want to reset the timer when you are in a timed mode. Otherwise, when the watch is continuously on, the display will never turn off, which is again a pretty good feature. You have the day of the week located on the very top there. And I like the fact that it has this inverted kind of LCD panel as well. It makes it slightly easier to read. And otherwise, it's just going to be tracking your footsteps, calories burned, data like that, just like any fitness tracker, and transfer that over to the phone. And it does make for a pretty accurate fitness tracking tool, even though it lacks the more advanced features like, again, a heart rate sensor. Taking a closer look at the design now, on the back you have the AOWO logo, and the battery here does feature 4 screws that can be pulled back to reveal the battery compartment. It fits just a regular CR2032, but they're actually using a slightly extended battery, which is why it lasts for about 2 years. It has 660 milliamp hours versus a regular CR2032 that only has 210 milliamp hours. The good thing is even cell batteries these days have rechargeable options, which were reviewed in the past, so you can purchase a rechargeable cell battery and essentially use it for many, many years if that's what you're going for. Otherwise, again, the biggest downside is the fact that it is quite bulky, but otherwise it's pretty comfortable since the band is relatively malleable and soft, and the strap here is actually very thick and generous. You can see that's a good amount of attention to detail, and for most wrists it will fit without any problems. So let's move over into the software side of things with the app next. Alright, so the app is simply called, you can see here, Sports Plus, and you can find it in the Play Store and also for iOS. Afterwards, you simply pull the tab over on the top here, and then you tap on Device Management, and then you can tap on Connect or Search to find nearby watches, and then it's going to be called the X Watch. It will pair up in under 20 seconds, so no real complaints there. It's still pretty smart in the sense that it will automatically sync your time information if it goes out of whack for some reason. So for example here, you can see it's automatically synced the time now, so it's 6:45, and then it's the same time being displayed on the phone. So everything is correct every time you sync it. And once the Bluetooth is on, it will always be ready to sync information back and forth, and I can now turn the Bluetooth off if I want to conserve some extra battery, just to prolong the battery even more on the cell-based watch. In terms of the app, it's pretty simple and straightforward. There's not too many advanced things you can do, but you can set up your own profile and add things like your height, your weight, and your stride length. Using your stride length will give the watch a more accurate idea of how much motion, how much vibration to count as one step for you. So it's actually pretty useful and makes the watch much more sensitive when you calibrate it with this information. You can also set up notifications such as when it will vibrate or beep when it gets a certain type of text message, and there's also some basic instructions. Under settings, you can take a look at number of steps as your target that you want to reach within the app as your goal, and about, you take a look at your firmware and basic details like that. Swiping over, very simple interface, pull down to refresh or sync, and the number of steps, whether you've completed your goal in this graphical interface, along with distance, calories burned. It will also show that information down below in a graph view in terms of a number of days, weeks, and months. So very simple and and straightforward. Tapping on the selfie key here just launches into the ability to take images. It will launch a camera here, and then using the watch, I can now tap on the side to take an image, and it will instantly be captured using this proprietary app. So pretty easy to use, and all the functions are very straightforward. What you won't find here is any detailed analysis in terms of your fitness goals. There are no specific types of sport activities like hiking or swimming, and there's no sleep tracking either. So all those things are missing. However, for steps and calories and distance, it is actually very accurate because it has quite a sensitive kind of a 3D accelerometer technology that they built in using a specific chipset, and it seems to be pretty good when I compared it with other fitness trackers I've checked out in the past. So that's pretty much been our video first look and quick review of the AOWO EX16 Pro smartwatch, part of the EX series of sport smartwatches. It's really meant as a low-cost notification watch, I think, with its strength in being long battery life, where you basically never have to charge it at all, which is going to be a great benefit to a lot of folks who are annoyed at having to charge their watch at the end of every single day like they do with their smartphones. So this saves you a lot of time. The downside would be the size. I think that for what it is, they could have made the size a lot smaller. I get that the battery capacity is larger here, but still I think they could have shrunk the frame down considerably because a lot of this is still just for decorative purposes. However, the keys themselves are fairly tactile and responsive, and the display is easy to read. Features are also a little bit limited compared to some other options I've seen that give you things like a compass, a barometer, a temperature sensor, stuff like that. Just adds to the functionality, but this one is just as basic as it gets. However, again, you do get very good battery life at a low price. So you can check out more details about this low-cost smartwatch in our official written review. But for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.